ASUS ROG Strix G16 versus ASUS TUF Gaming F15. And the real question is whether the newer graphics card and faster processor in the Strix actually change how your games run, because it costs a lot more. Pay up for power you never touch, and that's wasted money. But go cheap, and you could be turning settings down a year from now. By the end, you'll know which one fits you. Let's break it down. Let's start where this really gets decided, which is what happens the second you launch a game. The Strix G16 pairs an RTX 5060 with an i7, and that graphics chip carries 8 gigs of newer GDDR7 memory running up to 115 watts. The TUF F15 answers with an RTX 4050 and an i5, 6 gigs of video memory, though ASUS feeds it up to 140 watts, so it pulls more out of that smaller chip than the name suggests. At 1080p, both of these play modern games, and one buyer of the TUF puts it plainly. I picked up a few of these, and they run anything I throw at them from Fallout 4 to Helldivers 2 on max settings without missing a beat. Where the two split is headroom. The 5060 is a full generation newer, with 2 extra gigs of video memory, and that's what buys you a couple more years before you're the one dragging textures down to medium. But those numbers only mean something if the laptop can hold them for 3 hours straight. The Strix has the more serious setup, an end-to-end vapor chamber with 3 fans, and owners say it handles long sessions well, though the underside gets hot in the middle, and several of them bought a cooling stand anyway. Push it to maximum power, and the fans get loud, which matters if you game late at night in a shared room. ASUS also talks up liquid metal on its top ROG machines, but on this 5060 version, don't count that as part of what you're paying for. The TUF runs hotter, and doesn't hide it, since one owner calls the cooling mediocre with brief spikes toward 95 degrees Celsius. Yet that same person never saw it throttle through 4 straight hours of doom. Hot but stable is the read here, and a stand helps either one. Both open up easily, and that matters more than it sounds. The bottom panel of the Strix comes off without tools, and inside you get 16 gigs of DDR5 at 5600, plus a full terabyte on a Gen 4 drive, so your library fits from day one. The TUF starts with the older DDR4 at 3200 and only 512 gigs of storage, which is 3 or 4 big installs before you're deleting things. It does have a second M.2 slot, but heads up, a couple of owners stripped the screw holding it down and got stuck. Memory is the shared story because 16 gigs works fine today, and on either machine, the advice keeps landing on 32 if you plan to keep it a while. The screens go different directions too. The Strix gives you 16 inches in a 16 by 10 shape at 1920 by 1200 and 165 Hz, so you get extra vertical room for notes or code without scrolling, and one owner wished it were a touch brighter while still calling the panel vibrant. The TUF, on the flip side, is 15.6 inches at 144 Hz, and its strength is full sRGB coverage, meaning colors land accurate out of the box if you edit photos or video. It also carries a MUX switch, which sends frames straight from the graphics card to the panel instead of routing them through the integrated chip. For competitive shooters, the extra 21 Hz on the Strix is a small edge. For color work, the TUF is the one I'd trust. On build, the TUF's whole pitch is rugged, and owners a year in say it takes abuse without drama, while the Strix feels the more premium of the two with its RGB light bar and a stealth mode that kills the lighting for class. Away from the desk, the TUF is lighter at just under 5 pounds with a 90 watt-hour battery, but gaming unplugged runs an hour to maybe an hour and a half on it. And the bigger Strix isn't a machine you toss in a bag every day either. Connectivity leans toward the Strix, with Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4 against Wi-Fi 6 on the TUF, plus 2 USB-C ports, which one owner uses to drive a wall of monitors for trading. Someone did mention a loose Ethernet port on their Strix, but that looks like a one-off unit. So where does the extra money go? The Strix costs quite a bit more, and it buys the newer graphics card with more video memory, the stronger processor, faster memory, double the storage, the larger 16 by 10 panel, better cooling, and newer wireless. That's not one upgrade. That's the whole platform moving up. The TUF is the cheaper one by a wide margin, and you give up the newer silicon and half the storage. But you keep a capable 1080p gaming machine with a color-accurate screen. Here's the call. For most of you, I'd take the Strix G16 because the extra money isn't buying one shiny spec. It's buying a whole tier more machine that still holds up when games get heavier 3 years out. That said, if you're mostly on competitive titles at 1080p and you'd rather put the difference toward a monitor or a desk, the TUF handles that fine and costs a lot less. And if you do any kind of color work alongside your gaming, its panel is the one I'd trust, so I wouldn't push you off it. But if storage matters, and you hate managing installs, the TUF's smaller drive will annoy you fast. And you, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Links below in the description.